Muhammad Ali was born January 17, 1942. He made history when he won Olympic gold for boxing in 1960 at only 18 years old. Initially named Cassius Clay, he changed his name to Muhammad Ali after converting to Islam. Within 4 years, he won the World Heavyweight Championship from Sonny Liston on February 25, 1964.
When I want to turn professional. If I turn next year, I would be a full-fledged heavyweight, but next year. But like if I turned into weight soon, I would have to fight heavyweight because I would have to fight too much weight if I'm not.
My plan of attack on a fighter like Alec Metcalf would be 2 fast left jabs, a rapid right cross, and a left hook. Everything I say, I mean to back it up. And I noticed Archie Moore said that the empty wagon makes the most noise. Well, I don't know too much about that empty wagon, but that old man wouldn't go but 4 rounds with me.
I'll kiss his feet in the rain. I'm out of the ring on my knees, tell him he's the greatest, and catch the next jet out of the country.
Sonny Liston with a hard right hand that nobody could see. He came plunging in like George Foreman is always coming in. I bounced off the rope and timed it perfect.
His refusal to join the Vietnam War cost him his boxing license, and he was banned for 4 years until 1971.
Friday in Houston was the champion's moment of truth. He showed up at the induction center but refused to step forward, bringing on the threat of prison and a shattered career. About 20 of Ali's supporters marched outside the old post office building, while he himself was inside undergoing preliminary processing. Then came word of the champion's refusal. Minutes later, Ali spoke briefly to newsmen.
All I have here is statements that I have prepared. Statements that I have prepared, answering all of your questions on future fights.
Come on, Eddie.
the future period, anything you can think of. I have the statements, and I have them to be released now.
Could you state briefly why you declined?
No, I will not say nothing. It's all in.
Dr. Martin Luther King promptly defended the heavyweight champion.
Do you think that Cassius Clay is morally justified in opposing the draft as far as he says he will take it?
Oh, I certainly do. I think that he's doing what he is doing on the basis of conscience. I've talked with him about it, and I think he's absolutely sincere. And when you speak of the moral justification for it, that's one thing, and that's the highest and best justification, but it's also legally justified to be a conscientious objector. This is guaranteed by the Selective Service Act, and this is what he is contending that he is, a conscientious objector to war in general and to this particular war in Vietnam, and I would strongly endorse his actions on the basis of conscience. I would not dare stand in the way of one who, on the basis of moral conscience, takes a position as he is presently taking.
Bruce Lee was born November 27, 1940. Raised in Hong Kong, he frequented street fights and was taught how to harness that energy under the training of Sifu Ip Man. He returned to America at the age of 18 to complete his schooling. As he finished his schooling all the way through college, he started teaching martial arts from 1959 to 1964 at the Jhoon Kung Fu Institute in Seattle, Washington. In 1964, he opened his second Jhoon school in Oakland, California. It was at the Long Beach Internationals when he was noticed by Fox and cast as Kato in The Green Hornet.
Test X2, take two.
If I can back up a little bit. They start back from here and then come back.
All right.
He's kind of worried.
He has nothing to worry about. Now, once again, show us how a good Kung Fu man would very coolly handle it and walk away, rather than get involved in a series of actions.
Cut it. Sound.
Okay.
At the Internationals, he also began lasting partnerships with pioneers Chuck Norris, Steve Muhammad, and Rhee. 3 years later, on July 9, 1967, Bruce Lee established his Jeet Kune Do Way of the Intercepting Fist Institute. The next several years, his rise to stardom in TV was the perfect vessel to share his evolving martial arts philosophy with the rest of the world.
1, 2, 3, hey!
Here's a shot of Bruce Lee's first children's class reunion, 1967. These were Chinese Boy Scouts, and my father got him some students when he didn't have any students, or when he needed more students, I should say. This was in Seattle, Chinatown, one of the restaurants. There's myself over here. I was 18. And that's Edward Wong there. Stephen Marr, Gary Lowe, Jeffrey Wong, and his father. I remember seeing Bruce again in about 1969, I believe, in LA. And he had put me against Ted Wong, using feet only, kicking for Rio in the stomach. I hadn't learned his new Taekwondo methods yet, but I knew he was using street type methods, which he was showing me. So that's when I asked him, can I use the street methods? And he said, sure. So I started dancing, and that's where he learned the Ali Shuffle.
They're trying to do the Ali Shuffle. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the regular dance that I use just before the shuffle. I'm moving and I'm moving and I'm jumping around, and just before you know it, that's Ali Shuffle from the side beat. See, that's the side beat. And then this is Ali Shuffle from the front beat. And just as soon as you do that shuffle, a split second right after that shuffle, it's a good punch. It's that Ali Shuffle. Boxing position and just have a little dance like we're boxing, and just for 1 second. I have to time it. And for 1 second. Right there.
I had also met Ali. He was showing me too how he knocked out Sonny Liston dancing on his toes, and for the split second he went flat-footed.
I'm not going to help nobody get something my Negroes don't have. If I'm going to die, I'll die now, right here fighting you. If I'm going to die, you my enemy. My enemy is the white people, not Vietnamese or Chinese or Japanese. You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. You won't even stand up for me in America for my religious beliefs, and you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home. You won't stand up for what I believe now. So you won't.
Remember Ali's hiatus from boxing for refusing to go to war. Bruce Lee himself faced discrimination as a pupil in Hong Kong because he was not full-blooded Chinese. Furthermore, in the US, he noticed martial arts schools discriminated against teaching blacks and other minorities any form of martial arts. This is why he chose to teach any and everyone. He believed the human being was more important than any particular style or system. At the same time, Muhammad Ali was on the forefront for civil rights for his people in America. Equal rights and justice was just as important to him as any worldwide championship belt. By the time 1971 rolled around, Bruce Lee's stardom had exploded in Hong Kong. Muhammad Ali's ban from boxing was lifted after 4 years.
I was in a grocery store, and the grocery owner came out and grabbed me and hugged me with tears in his eyes, little black fella, and told me that you've just been vindicated and you're free. 8 judges all voted in your favor. And he just hugged me and squeezed me, and he was just short everything fella.
Both men started looking at ways to better themselves as fighters. Bruce heavily incorporated boxing into his training, and Ali contemplated on how effective boxing would be against other forms of fighting.
Top-notch fighter and a karate man, the fighter wouldn't stand a chance, because there's only 1 or 2 things he can do is ball his fist up and throw a jab. With the karate man, it's jumping and kicking and falling down.
Real good. Muhammad Ali, real good. Go get him. Ali. Hey, look at that footwork. Let me tell you, it was in Jay's corner. But I don't know if he's giving Jay good advice or if it's just that Jay's a little standoffish. Look, he's trying to protect his face. Says, put his hand up there trying. Oh, hey, terrific. Did you see the move by Ali? Terrific. Hey, he took Jay over. He's doing Jay's thing. Muhammad Ali, a new perspective on this great champion. Look at that. Right. Another one down. Hey, Jay's down. Right on his back with that right. Quick right to the jaw.
His brother and friend in the faith, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, was a regular student of Bruce's.
Mr. Lord. Okay.
As a result, Lee intended to have Muhammad Ali as a boxing fighter in one of the levels for Game of Death, as portrayed in this recently discovered promotion for Game of Death.
Hey, the clapperboard for Game of Death. There's Pele with Raymond Chow, Bruce Lee's producer. And apparently they had considered inviting Pele, Steve McQueen, and James Coburn, who'd been students of Bruce Lee. Muhammad Ali, who I don't think they ever met, but Bruce was a big admirer of Ali. So they're writing letters to Pele, one to Ali, misspelling his name. Maybe that's why he wasn't in the film. James Coburn and Steve McQueen, none of whom were within striking distance of Game of Death.
Castro, Cesar Alfaro,
right.
Great Grandmaster Ming Long. There are a lot of people out there that know about me, and they will tell you that there are many things that Bruce Lee picked up. He actually picked them up from me. He placed his hand, the springing off of the back feet. Bruce used to have filmed me when I was coming up, from a white belt all the way up to a black belt. He started filming me, and he picked up a lot of things and a lot of movements in which I had to portray in movies. And there were boxers and other people that he studied. He came up to me one day when I was fighting, and there are other people. That's Chuck Norris. He knows about it. He came up to me and he said, "What's your name?" And I told him my name, and he said, "You have extremely fast hands and feet, and that I would be going, I would go a long way in the martial arts." And I thanked him for that. And when he walked away, I said, "You know, what's your name?" Because he knew my name.
Right.
He said, Bruce Lee.
I met Bruce Lee in 1968 when I won the World Championship in New York City at Madison Square Garden. So he lived in Culver City, and he had a big workout area in his backyard. And so we started training in his backyard for like 2 years. And Bruce had different philosophies at that time than I did. He said, "I believe in only kicking below the waist. I believe you shouldn't go any higher than the waist." And I said, "Well, that's good and it's bad, Bruce. You should be able to have the ability to kick anywhere. And that way, if you only want to go low, that's fine. But if there's an opening high, then you should be able to take advantage of it." And I started showing Bruce different high kicks, spinning heel kicks, and jumping, spinning round kicks and stuff like this here. He started showing me the sticky hands, which are close-in type fighting, which was really great to learn. And then I started showing him all the various high kicks, and he really fell in love with them. And he became so good, after about 6 months, he could do them just about as well as I could.
I met him in 1964, one of the championship in Los Angeles, and we became friends instantaneously. And so we exchanged more or less. I taught him how to kick. You know, Kung Fu didn't kick like Taekwondo. But I learned how to punch more properly from him. So we exchanged ideas. So we are teachers each other and students each other.
그다음 뭐 발기질하는 걸 몰랐거든요. 그때는 주먹 손 수기는 있었지만 조끼가 우리 태권도만 못했기 때문에 내가 그때 팔척 위를 뛰어가지고 송판 석장을 깨는 걸 보고 그 사람도 처음 본 거예요, 그런 거를. 그래서 굉장히 나하고 참 친해졌어요, 그 후로. 그래가지고 그때 제가 그 사람한테 그 수기를 좀 많이 배웠고, 그 사람은 나한테 조끼를 배웠고, 그래서 그 사람이 이제 역시 유명해진 것은 이 태권도 조끼를 가지고.
That you broke Ali's jaw in the first round.
No, I wasn't.
Were you aware of the fact that you had hurt him?
I know. I already went once or twice. I wasn't aware of the fact that the jaw had been broken.
I know who Bruce Lee sparred with.
Yeah.
I know. They won't tell you. But I know people he sparred with. I never mentioned their names either.
It was in the second part of this year, April to July 1973, that something was gained in the man and soul we knew as Muhammad Ali. It was only after Bruce Lee's untimely passing on July 20th, 1973, that we would know what it was.
Oh, no. Justly for not fighting in the last year. Was it your fault?
No, I like to fight. Fighting is the only way I can make a living. You know, if I don't get no fights, then I can't eat.
How about the winner of tonight's fight between Quarry and Shaver?
I think that's a probability that I'll be fighting one of those guys.
Good luck, George.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you taking this fight seriously this time? You really are? Because you said yourself the last time you didn't train and you didn't take it seriously.
I didn't train.
But you didn't train seriously.
I didn't eat like I should. And Ken saw me around the hotel every day, entertaining the fans. In the gym, he would train. I was joking and telling jokes and laughing with everybody. And I owe it to myself in public to train at least once in my life. I hate training. I hate the idea of the hustle and bustle and training camps. I've always avoided it. I've never really trained for a fight. This time I've actually had to train because it's do or die. Ken's a good fighter. To break my jaw, you have to be good on any condition, and I have to be ready. Right. So for once in my life, I'm going to say I've trained for at least one fight, like Rocky Marciano did, Jack Johnson and Gene Tooney and Joe Louis. They really trained.
Can you believe what you see? Look like I'm 20 years old, going back into time.
Enter the Dragon premiered at Grauman's Chinese Theater on August 19, 1973. Several blocks away at the Forum, Ali and Norton had their rematch on September 10, 1973. At the same time, Enter the Dragon continued making box office history. One thing is certain, Ali is implementing the intercepting fist throughout the entire match. It is a silent tribute to the man, Bruce Lee. Everything Lee studied and implemented in the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, Ali embodied in this fight.
In Cantonese, Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. Reach me, you must move to me. Your attack offers me an opportunity to intercept you. In this case, I'm using my left jab in boxing, except it's much more damaging.
There you go, Kenny Norton.
Norton is a stiff arm, regardless of what happened. Because of this tremendous conditioning program of Ali, he, in at least this reporter's opinion, looks 5 to 7 years younger than he did in his last fight. There's a 32-inch waist.
You notice the much more powerful.
A little slap jab coming out there, thrown by Ali, not hurting too much, but very bothersome. Good left hand.
He hasn't stopped dancing. Something on those jabs, I'll tell you. Norton is certainly stepping up the pace.
Good left hand scored by Ali. 64. Oh, Norton ran into a left hook, and now he pushes Muhammad Ali away. Muhammad Ali ricochets off the ropes. Who is he?
Round even, mostly on the basis of that great. Ali landed
and then coming into the side of the rib. Good right hand by Ali. After the way he taught
body punches
at the end.
Yes, he hurt
Norton again. He's hurt Norton.
You're going to see Ken Norton staggered here by Ali. There's the right hand.
Drove it through the glove. Both men exchanged jabs. Ali another. time, a man's entire fistic future may be riding on this round.
And he's on his toes again. He's on his toes.
Norton, I believe.
Norton.
Joe Frazier says that's the place to go to the body. Ali with a beautiful combination.
Seven to 5 to the winner. Split decision.
And he stood in front of me, and for about 30 minutes he was trying to explain to me why his Jeet Kune Do style, Jeet Kune Do means way of the stopping fist. He was talking about instead of throwing a horizontal punch like this, you throw a vertical punch. Instead of putting your power side back like a boxer would stand, you put your power side forward. And he was explaining many of the principles and tactics that Jeet Kune Do demonstrated or utilized, which made it superior to the way we were doing karate at that time.
When he announced the fight against the Japanese wrestler, and one of my friends introduced me to Muhammad Ali, that I was the best one to teach him how to block when he kicked. And so I went to Deer Lake training camp here in Pennsylvania, and so I trained about a year and a half before the fight. So we became very good friends, and I also showed how to punch in his boxing. In England, 1975, when he defended his title against Richard Dunn, he knocked him out in first minute and a half, and first round. And then he said, "What kind of punch is that? And is that an ankle punch?" "No, that's not ankle, that's Master Jhoon Rhee's acupuncture."
Two good karate teachers are getting me ready for the wrestling. Are you going to use that right hand? Mr. Jhoon Rhee is his name. He's training me now for the Japanese wrestler. Yes, that wasn't the right hand. That was the unique acupunch. When you hit a man, as soon as you hit him, you turn it. It's a quick. Some of those things, but this is a little different. This is a little different. This is called the ankle punch. And this is called the unique acupunch.
Johnny cannot move.
You taking Zara Foley too lightly. Why would you say that? Because every indication has been that you're confident that you can beat Zara.
That I can whip all up. Ain't nothing new. My image has been confident. What you trying to make it look like something new for? I'm always confident I can whip all of them.
You're being extremely truculent.
Whatever truculent means, if that's good, I'm that.
What is your reaction to it? How does it get you? Now, if you are secure within yourself, you treat it very, very, very lightly, because you ask yourself, am I really afraid of that man? Or is that man, do I have any doubt within me that he's going to get me? But if I do not have such doubt, and if I do not have such fear, I would certainly treat it very lightly, just as today the rain is going on strong, but tomorrow maybe the sun is going to come out again. I mean, it's like that type of a thing.
I've turned down $8 million in movies, commercials, advertisements, endorsements before draft haven't came up because of my religious beliefs.
That in the United States, I think something about the Oriental, the true Oriental should be shown. I mean, it's always that pigtail and bouncing around, chop, with the eyes slant and all that.
Real high morals, promote peace, love, forgiveness, unity, charity, and if we mercy, compassion, if we check religions, I heard something once that says rivers, lakes, and streams. I repeat, rivers, lakes, and streams. They all have different names, but they all contain water. So does religions have different names, and they all contain the truth.
You know what I want to think of myself? As a human being. Because, I don't want to sound like, as Confucius say, but under the sky, under the heaven, man, there is but one family. It just so happened, man, that people are different.